In August 1966, two electronic technicians from Campos dos Goitacazes, Miguel José Viana and Manuel Pereira da Cruz, set out on a routine business trip. They were heading to São Paulo to purchase some electronic supplies and planned to take a brief break afterward for a little vacation. Unfortunately, this trip would drag them into one of Brazil's most enigmatic and unsolved mysteries. Before leaving, Miguel and Manuel woke up early, left their homes, and set off toward São Paulo. To most people, it seemed like just another regular trip. But for the two men, this day would be the start of an eventful journey filled with strange and unexplainable occurrences. As they ventured deeper into Brazil's interior, everything appeared normal at first. However, as time passed, something unusual began to happen. Miguel constantly checked his watch, and he seemed unusually nervous. Manuel couldn't understand why his friend was so tense, but he chose not to ask too many questions. After a while, they reached São Paulo and went into the city center to do their shopping. While they were shopping, something odd started to happen. Miguel appeared agitated, often checking the time and glancing around anxiously. His odd behavior caught the attention of a bartender they passed by. Miguel, without saying much, entered the bar, and a few minutes later, Manuel followed him in. But the bartender later remarked that Miguel seemed increasingly restless and uneasy. Miguel had been checking his watch constantly, his discomfort growing with each passing minute. A few hours later, Miguel and Manuel left the bar. However, the bartender noticed that they had mysteriously vanished by late evening. That was the last anyone saw of the two men. Days went by, and no one heard anything about the missing technicians. That is, until one afternoon, a child playing near Morro de Vintém Hill stumbled upon their bodies. The child didn't realize the significance of the find, but the masks on the bodies and their outfits were unmistakable. When the police arrived at the scene, they found Miguel and Manuel's bodies lying on the ground. On their faces were strange, seemingly lead-made masks, hard and misshapen. These masks were fixed on their faces as if they had prepared for something before their deaths. Then something even stranger happened. Nearby there was a notebook. This notebook contained cryptic notes and strange instructions. The messages were written in a code, mentioning specific times, metallic objects, and the need to wait for some sort of signal. The messages raised even more questions. What was going on here? Why were the two men involved in such a bizarre and seemingly secretive event? The notebook contained instructions that sent shivers down anyone who read them. Arrive at the designated place at 4:30 p.m. After taking the capsule at 6:30 p.m., wait for the signal and protect the metal. These messages didn't make sense at first, but the police were determined to find out what had happened to the two men. In addition to these cryptic instructions, the police were baffled by the masks. The fact that they were made of a metallic substance raised more questions. It seemed like these men were preparing for something far beyond ordinary circumstances. The police ruled out poisoning or disease as the cause of death. The bodies didn't show any signs of trauma, and everything seemed to have happened very quickly. As time passed, people began to speculate wildly about what had actually happened to Miguel and Manuel. Some believed that the two had participated in some sort of religious ritual. Others thought the deaths could have been part of a secret experiment. Another theory suggested that these deaths were connected to extraterrestrial activity. The metal masks could be interpreted as some sort of protection, and the messages in the notebook seemed almost otherworldly. Was this some kind of interaction with beings from another planet? It was a far-fetched idea, but the evidence seemed to point towards something bizarre and alien. Yet another theory proposed that the deaths were the result of a government operation. Perhaps the two technicians were part of a covert mission and met their end when the operation was over. This theory gained traction due to the mysterious notes and the masks, which seemed to serve a protective function. But, like all the other theories, it was never fully confirmed. Even today, the lead mask case remains one of the most baffling mysteries in Brazil's history. The strange deaths of two young technicians, the eerie metallic masks, and the cryptic notes have all contributed to the case's enigmatic nature. Despite many theories and speculations over the years, no one has been able to solve the mystery. The case of the lead masks remains a reminder of how certain events are simply beyond our understanding. While some may believe the answers lie in secret government experiments or alien encounters, the truth remains elusive. The lead masks case is more than just the tragic deaths of two men. It is a story that explores our fears of the unknown and the depths of our curiosity. No matter how much time passes, the questions raised by this strange event remain unanswered, and perhaps they will always be. Some mysteries, like the lead masks case, are simply too strange to solve, leaving us to ponder the unexplainable.